times HKP 603/604, later prototype replacement for SD.KFZ 251, 113, HL80, BK, I68.0, 160, 2,600 SD.KFZ7, kilometer M12 to 1939 projected design only, 116, HL90, BL, BM, V129.0, BN, 320/350, BO, 3,000 proposed as an intermediate engine F4 prototype Hughes Shrek 10 Grasshopper SPG while the HL100 became ready. 160, neither engine reached series production, nor the vehicle. 161, BP, BQ, HL100 V129.99, BR, 4004,000 proposed for Hughes Shrek 10, 163, and the Hetzer. 164, HL116Z, BS, I6, 135, BT, 11.048, BU, 265, 135, BV, 3,300, 135, Stra Emil, HK 1600/1601/1604, prototypes, 135, 166, installed in 4VK 30.01 chassis, pre-Tiger I. 165, also proposed in May 1944. The cancelled VK 20.01 K design project later became the Panther. 167, BW, HL157P, BX, V1215.5804110, 3,000, VK 16.02 Leopard, prototype, HL174 V1217.4, by 450, 168, 3,000 VK 36.01, H, Henschel pre-Tiger prototype, 168, BZ, HL224 V1222.4680, CA, 3,000 VK 65.01, H, heavy tank. Prototype heavy Henschel based on Panzer IV, HL234, CB, V1223.889003,000 intended to replace HL230-30P in Tiger II Winking Sad Smiley 170, Panther II, proposed at later prototype stage discontinued, Winking Sad Smiley 171, E.50/E.75 tank series, never completed. 172, HL295 V1229.5, CC, C.1000 post-war AMX-50 prototype. 173, 174, CD. Development of the HL210 and HL230. A proposed replacement for the Panzer IV had been considered since around 1937. What became the Tiger tank went through a series of specifications, with the final revision, VK 4501, being made in May 1941. 175, only a month later, the German armies invading Russia encountered the superior T-34 and KV-1. By December 1941, a specification for a 30-ton medium tank, which became the Panther, had been proposed as an immediate response to the Soviet tank threat. 176, CE. Repairs on a Maybach HL210. Russia, June 1943. During Operation Citadel, development of the two tanks continued simultaneously. The Tiger prototype was demonstrated to Hitler on his birthday in April 1942, 180, and the first of two Panther prototypes was ready in August 1942. 176. The weight of the Tiger had increased considerably since its inception, and although it was now considerably heavier than the Panther medium tank, Maybach proposed fitting almost exactly the same 21-liter V12 650 HP engine in both tanks. To save weight, the cylinder block was cast in aluminium alloy, with cast iron liners. The pistons were made of low expansion aluminium silicon alloy with Si content of nearly 20%. 181. The engine for the original 30-ton Panther project was the Maybach HL210P30, 151, while the 45-ton specification for the Tiger received the HL210P45. 147. The only visible difference was the arrangement of the coolant ducts exiting the cylinder heads, since the Panther and Tiger had different flows through their radiators. Cf. Quantity series production of the PZKPFW6 Tiger, OSF. H, with HL21045P engine began in August 1942, 180, and it is possible that production of the Panther's HL21030P was begun at much the same time. The first battalions to be equipped with the Tigers were the 502nd Heavy Panzer Battalion on the Eastern Front near Leningrad, and the 501st Heavy Panzer Battalion which was sent to Tunisia. Unfortunately, it swiftly became apparent that the Tiger was seriously underpowered, and the rush into production of the new engines meant that the inevitable design defects had not been ironed out. Nevertheless, when the new Tigers arrived in Russia, there was only one spare engine and one transmission for every 10 tanks. A critical lack of spare parts meant that most of them were out of commission within a short period. 29. HL23030P in a Jag Tiger, note central magnetos and symmetrical rusty coolant connectors just above rear bulkhead. CG. The first PZKPFWV Panthers, OSF. D, were similarly ill-fated. Series production began in January 1943, but when they arrived in Russia in the spring the faults, including the steering and leak in engine gaskets, were so egregious that the entire batch had to be returned to Germany. 13. A special plant for rebuilding the Panthers was established near Berlin. 13. In the meantime, Maybach redesigned the HL210, replacing the alloy cylinder block with a traditional cast iron one. Although there was no space for a physically larger engine, the cylinders were capable of being bored out without compromising the engine's integrity. The cast iron HL230 engines weighed around 1,400 kilograms, 3,100 pound, considerably more than the 1,050 kilograms, 2,310 pound, of the HL210. 182. The new HL230 23-liter engines were installed from May 1943 in the latest production Panthers as 30P, and in Tigers as the P45. 183, 184, 185, ch, although they produced 700 PS at 3,000 rpm. From November 1943 they were governed at the factory to 2,500 rpm to increase engine life, which limited them to the same 650 PS as the HL210. 186. Despite all the changes, the up-engined Panther OSF, with the HL230-30P, which didn't arrive in Russia until late 1943, suffered from overheating, fires in the engine compartment and blown head gaskets. 30. The head gasket problem was solved in August 1943 by pressing copper rings into grooves to seal the head. A new design of piston was fitted to the HL230-45P, which reduced the compression ratio slightly. 184. In November 1943, a governor was installed in the HL230-45P, which limited the maximum revs to 2,500 rpm and the maximum speed under full load to 38 km per hour, 24 miles per hour. Some new and rebuilt motors from October had faulty bearings installed, causing frequent failures. Improved bearings were installed in new HL230P45S from January 1944. 186. Maybach didn't separate the production statistics of the 210 from the 230. Altogether, production of both tips amounted to 153 in 1942, 4,346 in 1943, and 1,785 HL230s up to April 1944. In late April 1944, an Allied bombing raid put the Maybach factory out of action for 6 months. 187. Production was transferred to the Auto Union factory in Chemnitz, which delivered 219 HL230 engines to Henschel in 1944. A total of 4,366 HL230s from April for Panthers and Tigers were delivered from April 1944 to 1945. 187. Identifying HL210 and HL230 types. HL210, 3 air filters. Magnetors are located separately at the end of each camshaft. On the oil cooler side, the oil filter sits at a relatively upright angle, approximate 70 degrees. HL230, 2 air filters. Magnetors are located centrally in a twin housing between the cylinder heads. Oil filter sits at approximate 45 degrees. 30p. The twin cast iron hot coolant ducts are symmetrical and visually similar, with separate air feeds to L.H and RH radiators. 45p. The coolant ducts are Siamesed into a single pipe leading to the RH radiator. 147. HL234. Maybach continued to develop increasingly powerful 4-stroke water-cooled gasoline-powered engines during the war. One such Versuch's motor which never reached series production was the HL234, a development of the HL230. The intention was to develop a fuel-injected and supercharged engine, but only the fuel injection mechanism, by Bosch, was working by the end of the war. 172. The engine displaced approximately 23.4 liters, and the UN supercharged version was capable of developing 850 PS at 2,800 rpm, with maximum torque of 260 kg-meters, 2,500 Nm, 1,900 pound-foot, at 1,750 rpm, 188, and 900 PS at 3,000 rpm, 172. Only a few pilot fuel injection engines were built. 189. The fuel-injected and supercharged version, one engine completed, would hopefully deliver around 1,200 PS. 190. The main supercharger was to have been driven by its own twin-cylinder supercharged 1-liter engine of 70 PS mounted in the V of the HL234, where the carburetors were located in a normally aspirated engine. But his part of the design was never completed. CJ. By April 1943, the crankshaft bearings and connecting rods from the HL230 had also been strengthened, and the direct fuel injection system was working. But the supercharger was not yet fully developed. 172. Other improvements over the HL230 included water-cooled spark plugs, an improved intake manifold for better airflow, and improved exhaust manifold as well. 192. Instead of coil-type valve springs, the HL234 used much stronger bellival washers, which reduced valve opening times. 193. Problems with rubber seals and copper head gaskets were solved by adopting design assist in the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. 192. The first HL234 Versuch's motor was planned to be delivered in early 1945 to the Kummersdorf Proving Ground and was proposed in January 1945 as an upgraded power plant for the Tiger II, but had not yet been tested in a tank by that date. 170. It was also proposed for the Panther II at a later prototype stage, but the project was discontinued. 171. Similarly, the E.50/E.75 tank series, for which the engine was also intended, were never built before the war's end, with only development of individual components taking place. 172. Maybach also developed a smaller 12-liter version on similar lines to the HL234. It weighed 600 kg, developing 500 PS without supercharger and 700 PS at 3,800 RPM supercharged. 192. But like so many of the German wartime projects, it never came to fruition. Half-tracks. German World War II half-track prime mover numbering may appear not to be strictly logical. The two smallest vehicles were introduced after most of the larger artillery tractors were in production. 194. In ascending order of engine size and therefore towing capacity, they were designed to tow the following: sad smiley 195, SD.KFZ10, 1 ton, 3.7 cm pack 36 and 5 cm pack 38, and SP 2 cm flak 30. SD.KFZ11, 3 ton, 7.5 cm pack 40 and 41, 10.5 cm LFH18 and 15 cm signal 33, 7.5 cm flak.L/60, standard and Nebelwerfer ammunition trailers. SD.KFZ6, 5 ton, 10.5 cm LFH18, 7.5 cm flak. L/60. Mainly used as engineer/pioneer equipment and personnel carrier. 94. SD.KFZ7, 8 ton, 8.8 cm flak, 10 cm K.18, 15 cm SFH18, 15 cm Canon 18, 2 separate loads. SP for 3.7 cm flak and 2 cm flak Vierling. SD.KFZ8, 12 ton, 10.5 cm flak A38, 17 cm Canon 18 and 21 cm Morse 18, 2 separate loads. SD.KFZ9, 18 ton, 24 cm Canon 3, 5 separate loads. 35.5 cm Morse, 7 separate loads, 6 or 10 ton crane, or tank recovery. As Maybach designed new, more powerful engines, all these vehicle types received at least 2 and up to 4 different engine models during production of the latest batches. There remained the necessity of attempting to produce either spare parts or complete new engines, just to keep the older vehicles running. See also Maybach HL230.
Good. We have 30 seconds. The video splits in 30 seconds. So maybe I should do that. Start reading about the tanks. So we could do that. I have a read list about tanks. All this, but there was some more links there. But this is 4-part videos. The video splits in 10 seconds. So that's 4 parts. Let's keep it in 4 parts.